Sorry for that face. I was trying to read what I'd called the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the United Stand. I hope you're all doing very well. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to receive a £150 million transfer fund this summer transfer window. What's this all about, Mark? Have you pulled it out your backside? No, this is coming across the media this afternoon that Manchester United have drawn down a £140 million loan to supplement their coffers, I suppose, their budget of whatever this summer. This is happening. If anyone remembers last week at the shareholders meeting, Manchester United said that they've got 90 million in the hand and they can draw down for up to 150 million from this loan that they have. Well, they've done that. Apparently, they've done that. So 140 plus 90 is 230 million. What are we doing with 230 million pounds? Some people think it's going towards transfers. I suggest that some of it will. How much of it will go toward transfers, I don't know. What I've said is this: why would Manchester United take out a £140 million loan in May when the transfer window is not going to open until August? Why would you get that money in May? Because you're going to have to pay interest on that for 3 months and you're not actually using that money for anything until August. So, look, there may be a logical solution to that. Maybe they could only do it now. They couldn't do it in May. Maybe they need the money now. I don't know. But I don't think all this money is going towards transfers is the answer. I think that Manchester United will have running costs, all other costs. We've lost a lot of money in this coronavirus lockdown. A lot of clubs have lost a lot of money. And to survive, we're going to have to use our diverse revenue streams. And I think that there's a potential that this loan that we've taken out for £140 million, a proportion of that money will be going to other things. A proportion of that money could be going to Sporting Lisbon to pay part of the instalments of Bruno Fernandes. A proportion of that money could be going towards paying for transfers for last summer. Did we pay the Wan-Bissaka fee outright? Did we pay the Harry Maguire fee outright? I think we did with Harry Maguire. But £140 million, look, maybe some of that's going to transfers or not. But what I would say is Manchester United will be doing transfer business this summer. I think that's 100% clear. I think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said it again yesterday, that when the season's over, we're looking at our targets and what we need to bring in. And I don't think we have any reason to change or think about that. The point is, how much? How much will we have? And then you go back to what you've said before. Look, I've said this so many times, getting bored of it myself. If we get Sancho, that's a good window, but I do think anything beyond that will put us in a good position, and I think United need to be brave in this transfer market. I really do. But £140 million has been drawn down as a loan by Manchester United, according to reports this afternoon across numerous credible outlets. And they did say last week that they've got £90 million as well. So 140 plus 90, 230 million. What are we doing with that £230 million? Is it just is it afloat to help us keep afloat? Or is it set aside for transfers? We'll have to wait and see what happens with it. But look, it's so difficult. It's so difficult, Manchester United, because we have had summers of net spends of £60 million. I suspect that Bruno Fernandes signing in January will be coming out of whatever budget we've got. But then there's a part of me that believes that we are going to go and sign players. And I don't know. I don't know. I want to believe we're going to sign Sancho and Bellingham and get a striker. I want to believe that. But then there's always that opportunity with United that we won't even get Sancho. I mean, I went into last summer wanting desperately to sign Bruno Fernandes, knowing desperately that he was the player that we needed, and we didn't come out of the summer with him. So who's to say you can't go into this summer desperately wanting Jadon Sancho, knowing he's the one player that we need to fill that right-hand void and make us a better team, and we don't come out of the summer with him for various reasons. So, yeah, look, United will spend money. How they're going to spend it, how much they're going to spend it, we will have to wait and see. But look, I suppose you can take the positives from it. If we hadn't drawn down £140 million, then where were we finding the money for transfers? And also, I've got to say as well, to be positive, you don't need £140 million to spend £140 million. Now, someone's going to say, well, that's an idiotic thing. I'm clipping that and putting it on Twitter. But you don't. If you're signing 3 players whose value is £140 million, if you do it in instalments, you don't pay 140. You might pay 50 over the next 3 years. You might have to pay £50 million. And that's what I mean. Some of this money we've got a loan for might be to pay for transfers of the past. It might be just to pay Sanchez's wages for the next couple of weeks. Who knows? But United will spend money. It's just how we're going to spend money and what we're going to spend money on that's going to be the interesting thing. The debt doesn't matter. No, I don't think the debt does matter when you say... Well, the debt does matter because we don't want to be in debt, but you can service a debt like you service a mortgage. Most of us are living in debt. You know, we've all got, most people have got a mortgage. You're in massive amounts of debt if you've got a mortgage, but you're not out on the streets. You're not buying yourself a Chinese takeaway or a nice jumper, are you? You're not driving around in a crappy car because of it, because you pay your mortgage back every month, and that's what United owners do with the debt. Yeah, we could potentially be the best attacking force with Sancho on our team, and with our midfield, we could win the Premier League, says James Chishow. Watch your midfield, mate. Watch your midfield. And Swedish Giant says, love from Sweden, love back. And do you think Sancho will sign this year or next year, says Milan Loof. I think Sancho will leave Dortmund this summer. I do. 8 million of it on Timo Werner, says Michael Foley. I hope so. And realistically, who do you think we will buy in the transfer window, says Gavin Vaz. Look, I've got to talk about Jude Bellingham, because there was a story this morning about Jude Bellingham has agreed terms with Borussia Dortmund, and it was coming out from a German outlet. And I don't even think that that's what the article was saying, actually, when you read it, if you read it properly. But also, how Jude Bellingham has not agreed terms with Borussia Dortmund. He hasn't. He hasn't agreed terms with Borussia Dortmund, because he's spoken to Manchester United and he's spoken to Borussia Dortmund, and he may well have spoken to Chelsea. They've all offered him terms that he likes, but he's not agreed with any club, because he can't agree until there's a deal agreed with Birmingham as well. And he's not going to do that. And this is well known. He's not going to make his mind up yet. Because they've still got 9 games to play in the Championship, and so have Dortmund, and so have, not in the Championship, that would be odd. And Manchester United have got to play in the Premier League. He won't make his decision yet. He could end up going to Dortmund. I still believe he's coming to Manchester United, and I certainly strongly believe he's staying in England. But he hasn't agreed a deal with Dortmund, and people go, "Oh, I didn't want him anyway. 16 is shit. He played crap against Coventry." He is nearly 4 years younger. Well, definitely 3 years younger than Angel Gomes, and he's played 30-odd games in the Championship in midfield. Not on the wing, not up front, in centre midfield. He's played 30-something games in the Championship, which is a very competitive league. And Angel Gomes hasn't played 5 games in the Championship or 5 games in the Premier League in midfield. So this lad's something special. There's not many players of that age doing that sort of thing. And I don't care if he's no better than Mark Noble at the moment, because if he's playing like Mark Noble at 16, what's he going to be playing like at 19? And that's what you're buying with Jude Bellingham. We're not buying a player that drops into our midfield and is the next bloody Roy Keane. We're buying a player that at 16 years of age is playing in the Championship in the midfield, and he's doing a job as well as, well, name me a Championship midfielder. But he's doing that at 16. What will he be like at 18? If he keeps developing, he'll be playing like Gerrard or whatever. So that's what you're buying with Bellingham. I think some people get confused with Bellingham and think, oh, he's a bit shit. I watched him play against Derby and he was rubbish. He only scored 1 goal. Well, but he's not really a goal scorer anyway. But you know what I mean? He's a talent, and his age and what he's doing and his trajectory is going to go way beyond what his talent is at the moment. So I'm not even that bothered about how good he is at the moment. I mean, he's good, but he's got so much potential to be so much better. So I think United will, look, a little bit optimistic here. Do not hold me to this, but I think United will sign Sancho and Bellingham, and anything else over that would be a massive bonus. And I think Sancho and Bellingham are not a must, but they are a good transfer window. And if you get a striker as well, and you keep Paul Pogba, that is an absolutely spot-on transfer window. It's the stuff of dreams. Hi, Mark. If you could shout out Ewan, please. Thanks. Says Jamie Carbon. There you go. And Sancho will come, says Dyed Hair. And should we be scared of the possibility of Mbappe going to Liverpool via this new Nike deal, says Mirrored Jeremy? I look, if Mbappe went to Man City, if Mbappe went to Manchester United, if he went to Liverpool, you've got a big problem there. Liverpool are comfortably the best team in the country at the moment, and if they added a player like Mbappe in there, I'm sorry, I would be worried. I'd be worried if they added Messi. I'd be worried if they added Neymar. He's a top quality player. I don't think it will happen. Chief Leave Gamer says, why are we giving Gomes a new contract and buying Bellingham? We are so stacked in the midfield. Then where does Gomes fit? Well, there was an article by James Robson today, and he was saying that Manchester United are totally focused on getting Bellingham and Gomes in, and they've been working on these deals for months. We've said what we need to say about Angel Gomes. Angel Gomes, to me, is a talent that we've not seen, and he's running out of time. He's 20. I think he's 20 this year. he should have played way more games than he's played. He's been spoken about for many years, and he's not played enough games. So the next year of his career is huge because he plays in a position where really you should be playing first team football by now. He's an attacking midfielder. You don't have to wait till you're 23 to play in that position. You should be getting game time. He's got to get game time. I think he's good enough, but it's a think. It's not a definite because I don't know. He's not played enough first team football at all. And he won't be playing first team football for Manchester United. So he needs to get on loan if he signs a new contract. But I want Gomes to stay. I don't feel comfortable with him going like I did with a Yalasai or a James Wilson or a Paddy McNair. I was like, well, ultimately it's a shame, but it hasn't worked out. Gomes, I think there is a story there to be told, but he needs to open the book. He really does. As for Jude Bellingham, take it or leave it. If you don't really think that's the right deal to do, that's fine. I do. I think there's more than enough reasons to do that deal. I think he's exactly the sort of player we should be buying. And I would welcome him at Manchester United. Put some respect on Gomez's name, says Noah Petit. And breaking news, Liverpool have turned down Werner as they won't go higher than £30 million, says Tony Gamer. Well, I don't think that's true. And should we go for a new centre-back, says Swedish Giant? I can't see how. Going back to the headline of the show, if anybody's joining a little bit late, why? We're always live at 8, and that rhymes. But going back to the start of the show, when what I said is that Manchester United have drawn down £140 million loan that they will be spending in one way or another. If that is for transfers, I think I can categorically say Manchester United won't spend more than £100 million this summer net. They won't. And if Bruno Fernandes's deal is coming out of that, we're in real trouble. I think there's a realistic prediction that we only sign Jadon Sancho this summer. But I would hope that we get Bellingham and I would hope that we get a striker. I can't see how you get a centre-back. I can't see how or where the money comes from for us to be able to buy a centre-back as well. I think there'll be 3 signings maximum. One of those can't be a centre-back because centre-back is not in the top 3 positions we need. It's not even in the top 4. We need 2 midfielders, a right winger and a striker, and then we need a centre-back. So I don't see United going for a centre-back unless we're going to do a summer of madness. And I just can't see that happening. I don't think we would ever do that. I don't think we've got the money to do that. And I don't think it's the market to do that as well. So I don't see it. Mark, have you heard these reports from the Daily Mail? Manchester United to offer Sanchez to Dortmund, says Latif. I haven't. That must be a load of crap. And I think Gomes should sign a new contract, sign Bellingham and loan Gomes to Birmingham. There's an echo from Flex47. We were talking about that before, but I don't disagree. I think a Gomes loan to the Championship is exactly right, and I would love to see us signing Jude Bellingham. The Manchester Evening News, just to add this in, because we are talking about £140 million, and if we did have that, how would we spend that? They still talk about Grealish, Bellingham and Sancho. And I think that's worth just keeping it in your head. We talk about signing 3 players and we talk about Bellingham, Sancho and Werner, but that's just my ideal transfer window. There's no reason that we're going to do that. In fact, I bet we won't do that. But the Manchester Evening News will not shut up about Jack Grealish. And I think they were right in February, and maybe they're still right. But I think Jack Grealish, I'll stick to the person I talked to, and they told me coming up for 7 weeks ago now, let's just say 2 months, that Manchester United won't sign Jack Grealish if Paul Pogba stays because it's just money after something they don't need to do. They've got to offload to bring Grealish in. Bellingham coming in is for the future. You bring 16-year-old Bellingham in, in 2 years' time Matic is gone, Bellingham's there. So it's like a United like those sort of signings because it's like it's one for the future and one out in a couple of years. So that's why they like the Bellingham deal. The Jack Grealish deal, Aston Villa's best player, better stats than Maddison, who's playing in a team who's third. He is not a player that comes in and goes, "Yay, I'm Jack Grealish with my trim. I'm happy to sit on the bench in it." He doesn't talk like that, but he's not happy. He's not going to be happy to do that. He's going to cost £50 million to do that, and he's going to cost decent wages to do that. Can't see the way that Manchester United Football Club are run, and it has been said at Manchester United Football Club, you've got to sell to buy. That's not necessarily the case at the moment because there are gaps in the team that you need to buy, but there are other places that you've got to sell to buy. Grealish is a sell to buy, and who are we selling to buy Grealish? It has to be Pogba, or it has to be Lingard, or it has to be Pereira. And look, maybe if Lingard goes, Grealish comes in, and that's a good bit of business if Pogba stays. But someone's got to go. And I've been told it's got to be Pogba. And United don't want that to happen. It's a good day. The sun is shining and it is under 1 month until the Premier League is going to start again, says Per Eric Klassen. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. And Kevin Chilaguinga says, I have a feeling the Glazers are trying to spend big this summer. Just look at the Buccaneers in the NFL. They aren't good and they got Tom Brady. Well, he is coming towards the end of his career though, isn't he? Although it would have been expensive. I really can't see us signing Sancho this summer. There's no way we'll spend 70, 90 million for him. We refused Bruno last summer for 60 million in a normal climate. Yeah, but you know what? Jadon Sancho is a player that's not managed by Mino Raiola, Sean. He's also a player that would be here for at least 5 years, maybe 10 years. He's also a player that would have massive marketability in relation to brand, sponsorship, everything. He's also a player that if you did have to sell him, you'd make a big profit on. And what ideally I think would be the best thing to happen for United here is Jesse Lingard is the face of Manchester United, more than Paul Pogba. I think United realise Pogba's quite divisive. So Pogba really should be the face of Manchester United. He's very marketable. We're sponsored by Adidas. He's sponsored by Adidas. That should be the case. But I think in the last couple of years, United have become very brand aware that Pogba is a bit divisive. So they've used Lingard. And Lingard's very good off the pitch, but Lingard's not great on the pitch. So what I can see with United is, if Lingard does leave, and I hope he does for his own good, and I hope he does for United's good, because he's not been good enough on the pitch, and that's all I'm going to say. It's about what he's like on the pitch, and I'd wish him all the best, and I hope that if he did go to an Everton, he gets back in the England team and plays well. But I do think he needs to go. If he goes and Sancho comes in, Sancho becomes the Lingard, but he becomes the Lingard that Lingard didn't become on the pitch. He'll be the brilliant player on the pitch, and he'll be the face of the club off the pitch with people like Rashford and Martial. So massively marketable, Jadon Sancho, whereas Bruno probably wasn't. So I think United will go for Sancho. I do. Stephen B. Harry says, we go through this will they, won't they, every window. Reason why they keep Ollie, because he's happy to do what he's told to, and the reason they won't get Poch. Abernaf Ray says, can we sign Bellingham and loan him to Dortmund? This clearing our path for Sancho. We could do that. Sewer Child says, Mark, would you rather have in the current team Cantona, Beckham or Carrick? What, in their prime? Well, Beckham would probably be the one, because we need a right-sided player, actually. I wouldn't say no to any of them, but based on the team at the moment, the biggest hole is Beckham. I mean, Cantona would be the dream to come back, but you'd have to probably drop Bruno. So I think in the hole in the team, it would be Beckham for me. You think it makes sense to play Shaw as a centre-back more and sign someone like Grimaldo for left-back? Shaw has been nearly as good as Maguire in a three-man defence. I don't like the three-man defence, Joe and Daniel. That's my problem with that. I don't like the three-man defence or the back five. I just don't like it. And if that's United's future, I don't think Ollie's got much of a future. I mean, back fives was something that we were doing back in Euro 96 with Kevin Keegan. I don't like it. I don't like a back five. So, no, I don't want Luke Shaw to play there. And I want United to do it less and less, not more and more, if I'm honest. And talking about, let's just talk something topical for a moment. A couple of things on the Premier League. Today, unanimously voted by all clubs that contact training can go ahead. This is what United have been doing. Is training in little groups. So from tomorrow, they can go back to normal training in big groups, which is great. I think we're looking at the weekend of just around the 20th of June, which is not that far away. It's 3 weekends. It'll be 3 weeks on Saturday. Premier League will be back. That's what I think. I think 2 weeks is a bit soon, so I think it'll be 3 weeks on Saturday. If things keep going well, and the testing phase has been released again, 1,000 tests, around 1,000 tests for positives. Now, what's not clear with this is whether it's 4 new cases or it's 4 of the 6 that tested positive last week, and that's not been clarified. So 1,000 people tested, 4 have tested positive, but it could be that 2 of the 6 last week are now better, and 4 of the 6 are still testing positive. I don't know, but whatever the case, it's still a very low number, and that is very encouraging. Do you think City, Chelsea and Newcastle will have massive transfer windows due to financial fair play likely to be suspended and rich owners, says Asher Calvin. City have been very quiet, mate. Chelsea have got money to spend, and Newcastle, who knows when that takeover will take place, but they'll be fighting very quickly to try and get it done by August, because then they can buy some players. So yeah, I think they will. There was also, I don't know what you think about this, there was also talk about what the Premier League is going to do, because there'll be 10 fixtures every weekend. They're going to have every game played back to back. So the first game would be Saturday at midday, second game at 2 o'clock, third game at 4 o'clock, fourth game at 6 o'clock, and then the final game at 8 o'clock, and then you do the same on the Sunday. So you get 10 games shown on the telly across the weekend, which sounds great. It does sound great, but I just hope after the United game they put like Brighton against Norwich or some crap like that, because I like to do my match reactions and look at the fan cams. But I think at the moment we'd all love to watch Brighton versus Norwich, wouldn't we? But I think we'd watch a Brighton versus Norwich World Series, best of 7. That's how desperate we are for Premier League football. But I think once football comes back, we will get back into the groove of saying, yeah, I'm not watching Southampton Newcastle at 4 o'clock. I'm going out for a walk. If you had to choose between signing Sancho or signing Werner, Partey and Bellingham, who would you pick and why? Says Ben McMyler. You know what, Ben? I'm sure a lot of people are going to go for the alternative of 3 players over 1. But this is like blockbusters for me. I'd go for the 1, because that's what we need. We need a right winger, and Jadon Sancho is the right winger that we need. Look, I'd like to get Bellingham, I'd like to get Werner, I really would like to get Partey, but have we got a massive hole in those areas? Well, no, we've got Martial, we've got Rashford, we've got Greenwood, we've got options in the midfield. So I would go for Sancho, because you should always fix the problems that you've got. Let me check this. I've got Trent Singh has just said, can you just check somebody's tweet on Twitter, funnily enough. So I will check it and then I will update you. It's always a bit exciting when this sort of thing happens, but it could be a load of crap. But I've been told by Trent Singh to check this tweet, and I think I've just made your day. My prediction is that it will be something to do with either Sancho, Bellingham or Werner. I'm hoping it's to do with Sancho, Bellingham or Werner. Okay, so right, this is good. Liverpool withdraw from Timo Werner talks and won't pursue transfer of RP Leipzig star. As things stand, the Reds have withdrawn completely from any talks over the striker and will not pursue his signature. Liverpool have refused to pay Werner's release clause, even if that means losing out on the striker. And that's coming from the Anfield Watch, which is quite interesting. I am very interested by that. And look, it only verifies what I've been saying, that Manchester United are in the race for Timo Werner if they want to be in that race, and that Liverpool are the favourites to win that race. But if Liverpool pull out of that race, and look, I don't know what Liverpool's finances are. Nobody knows, and I presume that they have got the money to buy Timo Werner. But on the same hand, if they don't, then United and Chelsea are right in the race themselves. So that is good news, and I'm hoping that, well, it is good news, and I'm hoping that Manchester United can get that deal done without shadow of a doubt. But look, what I would also say is this: that does say as things stand, and as things stand today, they don't necessarily stand tomorrow. So thanks to Trent Singh for sending that in. It's interesting, of course, but it doesn't mean they're out of the race. Jurgen Klopp has been straight with the forward by insisting the transfer market has been turned upside down, slashing his potential value. Liverpool have a good relationship with RB Leipzig, but they now value him at significantly less than 30 million. It leaves Werner with the choice of sticking out his current contract, which has 2 years left to run, or to force the price down or look elsewhere. Well, yeah, this is it. Liverpool are not out of that race then, are they? That's basically what that's saying. They're not out of that race. Liverpool do want him, and they are going to potentially look at. Listen to this. That might have just broken your eardrums. Sorry about that. It was a little bit loud even for me to listen to. It's just a tweet I've done. It's just a tweet I've done. Right, we still have a crap board and no director of football. Our recruitment and how we run this club has been poor for years. Would this hinder us getting back to the top? Says Chikorito. Well, that's why this summer's so big, Chikorito, because we're all full of dubious reservations about whether United will spend, but hopefully they will. If they don't, we'll be surprised. Lingard to Dortmund, they get the best ever out of youth players, says Nathan Mishaki. And if Werner comes, great. If he doesn't, great. Win-win. As I said. Yeah, you could put it like that. You could put it like that. Sorry about that. That even hurt my ears. So I'm very sorry about that. I didn't mean to do it. I just wanted to make sure that it had worked. Let me have a little drink. Strawberry juice tonight. So, thanks to Trent Singh there has been a tweet coming out tonight from Maddock Mirror, who, if you don't know who he is, I believe this is the guy who said that Jose Mourinho was going to get sacked after the Newcastle game, and he didn't. So he's got a track record of being wrong, but what journalist hasn't? But what he's basically saying is that Liverpool have told Timo Werner and RB Leipzig that they will not be paying his release clause because they do not believe that there is value in the market for him. And it is now down to Timo Werner to wait and stay where he is, or try and force a move under £30 million. It's difficult, isn't it? And this is the market we're working in, because it's all right laughing at that, and hoping that we benefit from that. But if Liverpool don't think Timo Werner's worth any more than 30 million, are Liverpool wrong? Liverpool are very good in the transfer market. So should we not be doing the same with Sancho, or would we just buy anyway? Look, as I said, United are interested in Timo Werner, but Liverpool are the favourites. If we can get him, it's a great deal, but I still don't think Liverpool are necessarily out of that. How many youngsters will it make to the first team from the academy? And there was a news about Gomes signing a contract. Any truth in that, says Mojo? I think at the moment, in relation to Angel Gomes, there are certain people saying, "Oh, it's done," and it's been done for ages. But then there's other people saying it's not done. So I think, like when they hold up a shirt, until it's official, we don't know. But I think it's sounding promising with Angel Gomes, and I hope he does stay. That's Liverpool just playing the game. Everyone's going to do it with the players they want to get a lower price. But will they pay 25 million for King? No doubt, says Sean Turner. If they get him for less than £30 million, that's ridiculous. In fact, I was just thinking that then, if Liverpool have got a chance of driving the price down under 30 million for Timo Werner, what are we in Chelsea doing? Because if they get Werner for 25 million, we should be offering 35, and so should Chelsea, because I don't care how depleted or damaged this financial crisis is. In a year's time or 2 years' time, I think the crisis will be averted, and value will go much more than that. So I think you've got to get in that equation. Only thing I'm worried about is that maybe it could be a negotiation tactic. I think they did it with Van Dijk, says Trent Singh. Look, the problem is, and you're right, if Werner wants to go to Liverpool, and he's told RB Leipzig he wants to go to Liverpool, and he only wants to go to Liverpool, and Liverpool know that, then Liverpool have got a very strong bargaining tool. James Jacobs says the question: what can Ollie teach these new signings? Name a manager that's better striker. He can help Sancho and Timo Werner, says James Jacobs. There you go. So a little bit exciting about Werner, but I still think it's a long shot. But you know what? If he goes to Liverpool, he goes to Liverpool, doesn't he? Like Yazza said, if he goes to Liverpool, what are you going to do? You're not going to say he's not a bad player because he's gone to Liverpool. He's a good player. And get yourself in the equation, Manchester United. See what you can do. If he goes to Liverpool, what have you lost? He was going there anyway. Werner does have United on his mind too, Jacob. You're right. He said it himself. He said it in March. Yes, I keep telling people this. He said it himself. Timo Werner said at the start of March that there's two options really. You can go to a club that's already established and doing well, or you can go to a big club that's not doing well and be part of that journey to make them good again. And that sounds interesting. And he referenced Manchester United. People don't want to listen to that. So there is he actually referenced Manchester United as an exciting option. So it's there if you want to try and do it. Paulo Ramirez says, we need to realise we need good players. Martial will need to improve if we get Werner. We need to think as a top club would. Yeah, I'm one of those people who've always said that. I've got no problem at all saying, I've got no problem with United signing Moussa Dembele or Timo Werner or Raul Jimenez or even a Cavani, whatever, whoever the striker is, as long as they've got a talent, I don't mind us buying them. I'm not going to sit here and go, well, what about Tony Martial? Because I think Martial's good enough to keep them on the bench. And then I think they need to battle him for the spot, and then you get better players. But there'll be injuries, there'll be lack of form. Martial can move about a bit. Quality is what you need in depth, and that this season has been a real eye-opener towards that one. Sean Turner, if the market does crash and prices really are low, do you think big teams will sign players just to try and make a profit in a few years' time on them? Again, a good idea. It is a good idea. Competition is good, says Sam Burgess. And Flex47 says, smash a like on the video for the fantastic Martial t-shirt. Yes. Well, actually, if you want to get a t-shirt, it's getting very hot in the UK, and I'm sure it's getting hot in anywhere where it's a summer at the moment. The link's in the video description. We've got Bruno, we've got Tony Martial, we've got the 99, we've got the green and gold. Link in the video description. But yeah, I'd forgotten I was wearing this today, even though I'm looking at myself through in the camera. So yeah, smash a like, and you can get your own in the video description if you want. Welcome to Ryan Schafelt, latest member of the Members Club. Thanks for joining, and thanks for all our members who are members of the club, the United Stand Club. Charlie Key, predictions for next season if we get Sancho. If we just get Sancho. I mean, look, we're going to win the league, Charlie. We're going to get relegated, Charlie. Solskjaer's crap, Charlie. We'll be mid-table. Solskjaer's on a roll, Charlie. We're going to finish in the top 4. Too many ifs, buts and maybes, but I think if we get Sancho, I've said this before, firmly third. You can't be fighting for 5th and 4th again. I'm fed up with that. You've got to get yourself... United's next step next season is to be firmly third. In that top 4, firmly, like Leicester are now, comfortably in that 3rd spot, holding on to it, maybe a little bit higher. That's United next season. And I think it'll be harder next season than this season, because I think Spurs will be better, Chelsea will be better, Arsenal will be better, and obviously Liverpool and Man City are still going to be there. So... it will be harder next season, but we've got to put ourselves in a position where we are comfortably getting into top 4 next year. I'm fed up of thinking, oh, we might be in the Europa League. I can't be doing with that anymore. Yash says Jimenez is too old for us to be looking at him. Yes and no. I mean, he is 29, but there is something that makes me think that I would ignore what I normally say about players who are 29, 30, and I would give him a chance. 3rd or 4th, at least, with Sancho, says Saints Boy. And will we let Lingard and Matter's contracts run down? They both end in 2021. That's an interesting point from Doobie Guy. I can straight away say this to you, though. There's an option for another year with Matter, so ignore him. Lingard, I don't know whether... there normally is an option for another year with United, but maybe not with Lingard. Jimenez is an amazing player, will make so much of a difference, says Paul Robinson. Do you think Ollie will get some trophies this season, says Dwayne. I think we'll win the Europa League. If the Europa League comes back, I think we'll win the Europa League. Thoughts on the new kit leaks, says SM. They're better than the ones that they had before, but I'm not a big fan of it, if I'm honest. But a lot of people do like it. You can check it out on the unitedstand.com if you haven't seen them. Do you know what's going on with the transfer market? Have you heard anything? Says City Lad. I think that the season will start in June and finish at the end of July. Then they'll try and do the Europa League and the Champions League in August. And then the new season's going to start at the start of September. So I think the transfer window will be August. But then it can't be you can't close the transfer window. You can't have a 1 month transfer window. That will totally mess up. We won't sign any players then, because it takes us 6 weeks to sign a player. So we won't be signing anybody. Whatever they do with the transfer window, it's going to have to open when we're playing football. So I don't know whether they'll open it up on August the 1st and let it run till October. But it's got to be a 3 month thing. Otherwise, it's ridiculous. Sean Turner, if players like Werner are being priced at 30 to 40 million, we could do some serious damage in the market with 140 and make up some serious ground on rivals. Well, this is what I think we should do. It takes a brave owner to do it, but if you've got cash and you can go and get a player that Liverpool want and Sancho and a couple of other players, and you've got the money to do it, and then you say to Ollie, next summer we might not buy anybody because we've got them now, gives Ollie... Look, I don't care if we don't sign... I don't care if we get Sancho and Werner and Bellingham. I don't care if we don't sign anyone next summer because we've got 2 players that we probably wouldn't have normally got. And you give Ollie that little bit longer to work with those players. So that's what I would be thinking about doing. Because absolutely, you're right. Absolutely you're right. Because if you're looking long term, we know that United will sign 2 players this summer, 2 players next summer. How about if you could get those 3 or 4 this summer? Because it's cheaper. We don't spend as much next year, and you're closing the gap quicker. So those financial restrictions could help United big time. If we sign old players, it's difficult for them to have a future, says Yash. It is. You're right. Rayan says it's now or never for United. I wouldn't say it's now or never, but it's a massive opportunity. And I would say that if you come out, if we're at Christmas and football's back, next season football's back, and it's Christmas, Arsenal have bought no one, Spurs bought no one, Chelsea didn't really buy anyone, Liverpool didn't buy anyone, Man City didn't really buy anyone, and we just bought Sancho. We could be sat there at Christmas going, we really should have just gone and got a couple more, and we really could have made a difference, and that's it. You don't want to waste the opportunity that's there. Werner or Haaland, Mark, says Illa United. I think Haaland would have been good for United. But I think Werner would be good in a different way because he can play a number of different positions. What do I think of Eric Dyer, Mark? Says Thomas Eakin. Not a lot. And that's as nice as I'll be. Nagelsmann to replace Ollie if things go wrong, says Vishal. I don't see it going wrong for Ollie. I think he's here for the next couple of years at least now. I think he's whether it's lucky or not, I think he's rode the storm. Unless something bad goes wrong. Unless we lose 3 of our next 9 games and we don't get anywhere near top 4, then I think he's in trouble. But I can't see that happening. I think with Pogba and Rashford back and what Bruno's done and how other people have responded, there's a buzz around the club. There's a buzz around Solskjaer. He's going to be exposed if he can't get us playing good football. But I think even that will improve. So I don't see that. I think we will get top 4. I think we will win the Europa League, and I think we'll go into next season with momentum as well. So it's all there for Ollie. He can only trip himself up. Here's a good question. Josh King or Cavani or Ighalo loan extension? Well, Josh King or Cavani wouldn't be coming in until next season, and Ighalo's loan extension would be just for the rest of this season. So it's a little bit odd, but so I'd go with Ighalo's loan extension because I don't want Josh King and I don't want Cavani. Could Bellingham start for United next year if he signs as I'm the boss? Well, never say never. I don't think he's good enough to start for United at the moment. I think he's a player that could be in and around the first team next season, and maybe 20 minutes here and there, Carabao Cup games, Champions League group games, FA Cup games, the odd league game. I don't think he'd be going straight into the team and taking a Matic place or a McTominay place or a Fred place, but you just don't know what his trajectory is going to be. I'd be excited to see if he was going to be part of the first team plans. On the other hand, I'd be excited if we bought him and loaned him out. So I guess we'll just see how good he's going to be. I really don't like Haaland. He's a Norwegian Lukaku. He gets in the right position and scores goals, but overall he's really not a great player in my opinion, says M. Shah. I think if you watched him yesterday, you could definitely call him a flat track bully with a bad first touch. But I think if you've watched him play a few times, there's a lot more to Haaland's game, and he is a good player. Whatever his persona is going to be off the pitch, and I accept that he comes across not ideal at times, but I've seen a bit of him over the last couple of years, and to be honest, last 18 months, and to me, he is the modern hitman. He's the modern target man. He's tall, but he's got pace. He's skillful for a tall guy, and he can finish. He just had a dreadful game yesterday, as did Sancho. Barca want to get rid of Griezmann because he's crap, says Yazza. Yep, I'm sort of glad we dodged that bullet, really. And do you think City could make a move for Sancho if they sell Sane? No, Bradley, I don't. I don't think Sancho's going back to City. We need a striker with 30 million if we want Sancho. Any thoughts on the options? We need a striker within 30 million if we want Sancho. Well, it depends what we're going to pay for Sancho. I said this a couple of weeks ago and a lot of people disagree. It was only 2 weeks ago I said to you, what do you think Sancho will go for? And people were saying 120 million, 100 million, 110 million. And I said, you're wrong. We won't pay anything more than 89. We won't pay more than we paid for Pogba. And a lot of people said, yeah, you're having a laugh. But here we are 2 weeks later. People are starting to realise the market we're offering in. And I actually think 89 million's too much now. I'm actually down at 75 now. I don't think we'll pay any more than 75 for Sancho. And it could come down more. So if you get Sancho for 75, 80 million, you can easily spend another 40 on Werner and a 20 on Bellingham. And you've spent 140 million. And then you do about that or 50 million in sales. Net 90 million net spend. You get Sancho, Werner and Bellingham. It can be done. It can be done. And let's not forget that 90 million net spend doesn't need to be spent. You could spend 40 and then the rest is in instalments. So it can be done if you're brave enough. I can break things down for you bloody easily. You know, we could sign Sancho, Bellingham and Werner for £50 million this summer because that would be the first instalment. Then 50 million next summer, then 50 million the next, and then that's 150, isn't it? And that's what they would probably cost. But they wouldn't cost that much, actually. So there's ways that Manchester United have got some of the best people in the world involved in relation to instalments, deal structures, and all sorts of things. So we can do these deals. It's whether we want to do these deals. Uncle Ginge says, Mark, Dembele or Werner? Werner. Werner's the better player. Werner would come into the club and want to start. Moussa Dembele would come into the club and want to start, but would probably realise he's not good enough to start ahead of Martial, Rashford and Sancho. We get stick for ruining players, but Barcelona have spent more than us on Coutinho, Dembele and Griezmann, and they've been crap. No mention of them doing it. Well, Barcelona basically crap gold, don't they? But if you look at their spending, yeah, Moussa Dembele 135 million, Coutinho about the same, Griezmann around the same. So that's 300 and something million they've spent on Griezmann, on three players, and they've all flopped. And there's probably other flops as well. I think United are in a situation Liverpool were in before they got Van Dijk. 1 or 2 signings to challenge for the title, says Alex Rogers. Well, I like that positivity. Sane or Werner, says Manu. I do like Sane. We don't need him, so Werner to me. Yeah. Please smash a like on the video. We're very close to 1,000 likes, so please smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. There has been some news while we're live coming out from the Mirror that Liverpool have pulled out the race of Timo Werner for now. I think it's part of the... I actually believe it's part of the negotiation process, and I don't think that Liverpool have pulled out. But if they are stuttering a bit, United should be jumping in. That's what they should do. If Liverpool are like, oh, we don't know whether to pay for this, Man United should just go with the wad and go, there you go, come on. That's what we should do. Liverpool can only bully Leipzig into selling Werner if Werner is adamant that he wants to go to Liverpool and nobody else, and Liverpool can drive the price down. But if another club comes in and Werner's interested in it and says, well, we'll pay the price, Liverpool are out of the race. So that's what United need to do, I believe. Ridge says that my dream transfer window is Sancho in, Timo in, Meccano in, Jude in, Grealish in, and Donnarumma and Haaland. And out, Jones, Smalling, Sancho, Pereira, Lingard, Rojo, Grant, Delo, Matic. Your thoughts on this? Ridge, I enjoy playing FIFA because that's a FIFA transfer window. It's a great one, but it ain't ever happening. Just seen Bellingham is close to signing for Dortmund, says Oliver. No, he's not. He's not. I've spoken about this. He's not close to signing for Dortmund at all. He's probably had terms with Dortmund that he's agreed, and he's probably agreed those terms with United and maybe somebody else. He hasn't made his mind up where he's going. And when I say terms agreed, he's probably been offered a wage that they go, yeah, we'd take that. and we'd like those terms. But he hasn't made his mind up where he's going yet. And he could go to Dortmund, but I don't think he will. Right, look, thanks everyone for watching. Really good show. Enjoyed that. Good pace to it. Good chat. I'll be back in the morning with the latest Man United news and transfer news. And obviously back again at 8 o'clock tonight. Thanks everybody for watching. And I hope you have a good evening. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Really enjoyed it.